Hey guys, still here. Welcome back to Afghanistan 11. The game is now released, and I'm going to be covering one or several playthroughs of the skirmish mode. Now, I'm not exactly sure skirmish mode is the exact appropriate term for this, because it seems like a bit of a mini campaign. So the term skirmish is a bit deceiving. The game is now released on Steam. You can get it for anywhere between 25 and 30 euros/dollars, depending on when you watch this video. Because right now, and this is 24th of March 2017, the game is on sale. You get a 10% discount. So if you think it's interesting, pick up a copy. I, for one, did a replay or review a couple days ago where I was a bit critical of the game. Ever since then, it seems that when it came out of beta, some of these annoying bugs have been removed, and I've been playing around with it a bit more, and I find it actually quite interesting, because it is something quite different from what we normally have. So, let's get right into it. Now, the skirmish mode has a few overwhelming features here. They have a lot of options to pick from. I'm not going to go for a turn counter. I'm going to go straight to the bottom and click victory type condition. I'm going to go for hearts and minds, so that the game doesn't end after a specific number of turns, or actually you cannot select it. It ends after 60 turns. That's when you need to be at I believe a hearts and minds score of 70, something like that. I'm going to keep everything else the same, and I'm going to put this thing on regular difficulty. Let's get going. The objective here is to build up Afghanistan and hand over control to the Afghan army, or the ANA, the Afghan National Army. Once we've done that, we're going to pull out and we're going to just transfer the whole country back to its residents. That's the plan. Let's see, we have a political liaison. We don't want to be colonized. Intel from villages is down by 20%. Political points, that is PP, on enemy kills down by 100. So if I kill an enemy, that's not going to give me as many points as I would like. I do get more political points income per turn, because this guy is apparently corrupt. And due to intelligence, or this perk, the cooldown period is up by 1 turn. So this means that I believe the recon drone is not going to be available as often. Now, I have been playing around with the game a bit more. I don't know all the ins and outs of it yet, but I want to at least give you a bit of an idea of how this game plays, and let's see if we can liberate Afghanistan, or just return it to the people after throwing out the Taliban. As you can see on the map, this is my base. We have a couple of towns nearby, and what I want to do first is set up a sort of secure area around Tulak, Talab, and Surobi. These are going to be my first priorities. You can see that Talab is right next to the highway. That's the dark line there. The other ones have a bit of a dirt road, which means that they are connected. And the more villages that you have connected to your roads, the happier they will be. Because this is what we're going for, the Civil Affairs Report. Currently, we have a Hearts and Minds score of 50. The goal is to get that score up, and I believe the goal is 70 points. Currently, we're not getting any political points, we're not losing or gaining anything over a conflict, mines, intimidation, aid, villages on highway, and this is the one that I just mentioned, infrastructure, village visits, and then the game comes up with a net score. Logistics, we have absolutely nothing yet. We do have 2 villages connected to the highway, which I believe to be Talab and potentially Marja. As for intelligence, we don't know anything yet. There is simply no intel as we just started out. Political liaison, that is this guy, the president of Afghanistan. And the objective is to end the game with a Hearts and Minds score of 50 or more. The US will withdraw on turn 45, and I have 60 turns to complete the mission. Now, if I withdraw on turn 45, that means that the Afghan National Army is going to be so present that I won't need the US forces anymore. That's the point. So, I start out with 10,000 points. We have 1 village here, and you can see that this thing has a small highway sign right there. It means it is connected. You can also see that there's a burning fire, which means that the town has some intelligence for me. There is something to be learned there. Then there's another town to the northeast. It's also connected to the highway, and of course there too is a fire. We have a town here and a town here, but these two are connected to each other but not to the highway. So what I need to do is build a road from here to this town, and then they're both going to be connected, which gains me a few more political points. So right now I'm going to bring in some reinforcements. I'm going to get a Husky. Huskies clear and defuse IEDs. I found that if you don't bring these, you are in for a painful drive, as the Taliban or the militias tend to be very happy in just throwing IEDs around like they're firecrackers. Unfortunately, they hit a bit harder than your average firecracker. So this is going to be sort of my lead convoy truck. Then I want a supply truck to resupply units that I might need. I'm going to call this thing Supply 1. I'm going to build a Buffalo. This is your engineer vehicle. It builds everything. This is going to be Buff 1. I want one group of US infantry. That could be Alpha Company. I then want an MRAP. This is supposed to be the replacement of the Humvee. And this one, unlike the Humvee, is actually able to sustain a blast from an IED. So we're going to call this Transport 1. I'm not going to go for any Blackhawks, Apaches or Chinooks just yet, because they are very expensive. What I do want to get is Special Forces. Because what Special Forces can do is train up the Afghan National Army, the ANA. You can see here that I have currently 0 out of 3 trained aircraft, 0 out of 3 trained howitzers or batteries, and 0 out of 5 trained vehicles. So what I want to do is just get 3 Special Forces, or 3 groups. We call these SF1, SF2 and SF3, otherwise everything is going to be named company or battalion and it's going to grow pretty confusing. Let's start training. I want to get 1 helicopter, I want to get a transport, and I want to get a howitzer. So these are going to be training, and this is going to take me 6 turns. The other one is going to take me, I think 5 turns, and the howitzer is another 5 or 6 turns. First off, we're going to, let's see, where's the Husky? Right here, Alpha Squadron. We're going to de-garrison that guy. You're going to drive lead right to that village.
Copy that.
I want to make sure there are no IEDs. And at this point, it's not likely that there are IEDs. So I know that this road is clear. Now we're going to load up the infantry. Usually I just pick the transport, load it up, de-garrison the unit, and then we're going to drop off the infantry inside the town.
Copy solid.
Get some intelligence that way.
No new intel.
Okay, they don't have anything for me at the moment. Pick up the infantry, and we're going to make a stop right there. So I'm going to move up my Husky a bit more next turn. I'm going to move this vehicle out of the way. And now I'm going to bring my supply truck with UN aid. Now, bringing UN aid to villages will boost their hearts and minds score.
Affirmative.
So you're going to head right over here.
UN aid delivered.
Aid delivered, and we're going to head home.
Copy that.
Now, these villages won't instantly switch to a US flag, which means that they're friendly to me. They'll do so eventually. So if I just keep delivering supplies, if I keep visiting them, I'm building up my relation with them. And once that happens, you're going to get more valuable intel from them. I also want to get Buff 1 to start moving. What I want to do is set up a FOB, probably here, to service these 3 villages. With a FOB you can resupply your vehicles, you can use it as basically a parking lot for your vehicles, for your infantry, potentially resupply helicopters there. And because this is a pretty nice isolated area, what I want to do is just build a FOB there, so that I can service all 3, and then focus my efforts more towards the northeast, because we have 2 more villages over here. So, we're going to de-garrison the Buff 1, and we're going to have that thing just drive right here for the moment, because I still haven't cleared the rest of the road. Now, I was playing this game yesterday. I was about, I think, 4 to 5 turns in. I did not clear the road next to my HQ, and a supply truck drove out and immediately exploded. So clearing out the roads with a Husky vehicle before you make your way out of the base is paramount, otherwise they will blow you up. Now I have one unit who can still move, that's the Buffalo. I'm not going to tell him to do so because I have nowhere to go. What I could do is build a waterworks, but I don't want to invest in that yet. What waterworks do is provide, if I'm right, infrastructure to a town, such as just water, plumbing, stuff like that. And this is also going to positively influence the villagers. For now, let's end the turn. Okay, we don't have anything new for logistics, infantry, or intel. There's just nothing going on. What we do know is that there's 2 militia cadres and 1 Taliban cadre. So we need to find out where these guys are. You can click this icon, which is going to try and light up the area where they should be. But we don't know that, because we haven't received any intelligence. So let's continue with our Hearts and Minds campaign here. Now you can see that the Husky didn't move as far this turn as it did the previous turn. And that's because there's no road. So as we're going this way, I might as well build a road. Because then the fob is going to be connected to the road and these 2 villages.
Affirmative.
There we go, Buffalo's out of action points. Let's bring the infantry group. The infantry group actually, or the transport actually has a decent amount of mobility.
Affirmative.
Let's move them over here. I know that he's running a bit ahead of the Husky, but for now I think I can get away with it, because there's usually not an immediate threat of IEDs there. Now this supply truck is currently 4 out of 5 fuel, so I can immediately pick up a new bit of supplies, or a new bit of UN aid, and tell them to start shipping that once again to that village.
UN aid delivered.
Now if I go to Hearts and Minds, or Civil Affairs, you can see that the aid is giving me a plus 0.2 increase in Hearts and Minds. So is the villages on the highway, and I visited a village. So all of this is helping, although not a lot. Now I could make another group, which is going to head towards this area, and I have plenty of political points, so I can easily do that. So once again, buy the standard stuff, buy a Husky. This is going to be Husky 2, although I didn't rename the first one. I want 1 infantry group. I want 1 MRAP. This is, I believe, Transport 2. I want a Buffalo. That's going to be Buff 2. And finally, I want to have a supply truck. Yeah, you can be Hotel Squadron. So, head north. And I might set up another fob right here, so that I can service these 2 villages. So, let's see if there's any IEDs already. There we go. Detected and destroyed an IED, and another one. This destroying of IEDs, or detecting and disarming, actually gets me political points. Now just imagine what would have happened if I had sent out my infantry transport, so my Transport 2 with Echo Company first. Those guys would have been utterly blown up. They would have instantly died. Or at least taken a severe beating. So now we can make our way to the town a bit safer, and you are going to immediately come along with the supplies.
We're Oscar Mike.
A nice little convoy right there. Okay. Now we have 1 unit who can still move, that's the Transport 2, I don't mind that, we're going to end the turn. Okay, I believe there's no further intel at the moment. What you can see is that the current Hearts and Minds is nicely going up by 0.5 as a net change. The moment that I start getting casualties, or start taking casualties, that's when that goes down. So the objective is to keep it up. You can see that destroying the mines actually got me some nice additional aid, or a Civil Affairs bonus as well. Hearts and Minds change. So let's get the Husky here first.
We're Oscar Mike.
Okay, no further
We're
contact.
Oscar Mike.
Let's get the Husky out of the way. Then, the transport with the infantry.
Copy solid.
Tell me if there's anything of interest in this village.
New intel incoming.
Oh yeah.
Be advised.
Militia.
Militia in the area.
Now killing militia is going to get you quite a few points. I can call in an F-16 airstrike for 200 points. It's a 77% chance to win, so let's get him. And there you go. I got 200 points more out of that than it cost me. But the airstrike is on cooldown for another 4 turns. Had I not had the airstrike, getting these guys killed off quickly before they disappeared would have been difficult. I would have needed to bring a helicopter, because that's the only unit that's going to get there fast enough. So now we know that there is no further intel in the village. We're going to pick up the infantry again.
Copy solid.
Unfortunately, the truck is a bit in the way there. I don't really like that, but so be it.
Copy solid.
I want the buffalo to hold here. And I want you to drop off your aid to the village. Just park here at the moment. There. Southern group. You guys are almost at the town.
Copy solid. Village uncooperative.
Okay, these guys don't want to talk yet. That's unfortunate, but we'll just make it work later. These, I don't want these to move without any Husky support. So move aside.
Moving out.
Husky, start moving this way. And then this one, I'm going to build my fob right here.
Roger.
Good. Now we can resupply our vehicles right there. This should make it a bit easier. Let's start building a road towards that town. So that's done. We now still have this one, which I cannot really use. We have the supply truck over there, which is empty. So we're going to send that one back to headquarters. And take note that the fact that I just drove by here with a Husky doesn't mean that the road is still clear. What could happen is that right about now they're laying new IEDs here, which would make it so that if this supply truck drives out without a Husky escort, it might get blown up, which wouldn't be particularly good news. And this is the trade-off. Do you spend another 1,000 political points? Or, for example, do I buy a Chinook, which is a unit, an aerial unit of course, which can drop off supplies by air and is not likely to get shot down. But they're very expensive, and spending 2,000 points there means that I will not be able to go for a fob where I want it, right about there. So it's constantly weighing your options and finding the best one. Let's continue with the northern area first. I want the Husky back to the road to clear the road in front of the buffalo.
Roger.
Nothing there. I do need to start paying attention to their fuel because it's going a bit low. Line up. You can join the convoy again. And the supply truck can drop off their supplies right to the town.
Copy that.
Deliver aid. That would be nice.
Roger.
There we go.
Aid delivered.
Now, because I don't feel quite confident bringing this thing back to the base, I'm going to tag it along to this little convoy, where I know it's going to be pretty safe from IEDs. Emphasis on pretty safe, because I have absolutely no guarantees.
Copy that.
There's an ID, there's another one, and this is why you bring a Husky. Because if you don't, you might find yourself being very, very sorry about it. Let's build a road.
Roger.
There you go. Now this town is also connected to the highway, and so is this one. So they're all happily connected. What I want to do now is build a howitzer pit here, an artillery pit extension. Because if I get intel from these towns, I can then use a howitzer to fire at them. So if there's any enemy combatants nearby, then this is going to be controlling the area.
Copy that.
Now the fact that I am going to build one of those pits does not mean that a mortar magically, or an artillery piece magically appears there.
We're Oscar Mike.
It's going to require the actual construction of the howitzer. And that's why I started that in the first turn. So that the howitzer is going to be built. Now this one is not flaring up, so there's no new intel there. There's no intel here, and we're making our way there. But the reason that I withdrew this transport is that it's starting to run out of fuel. Whereas if you park it on top of a forward operating base, it's going to get refueled. So then I can take it out and start visiting this town. We still have the supply truck over here. I would love to bring over some more aid, but I'm not too confident about it, so we're going to bring another Husky. This is Husky 3. De-garrison the Husky. Make your way just beyond the town. Okay, nothing there. You could argue that was a bit of a waste of resources, but at this point, I'd rather keep my supply trucks from getting blown up.
UN aid delivered.
Alright. Let's see how the Hearts and Minds campaign is doing. We are at a net minus 0.2. Because while we have been winning a conflict, that's the kill that I just got, the enemy is intimidating local villages. So this is something that I need to put a stop to. And this is something that requires me to bring infantry to those towns. So that's going to be a new objective. But there are a lot of them. It's not going to be easy to get, for example, over here quickly. I will probably need to do that with a Chinook. And just establish a forward operating base over there. But that's going to take a while. Now, back to this map. There's something else that you can see here. This is the timeline down in the bottom. There's currently nothing special going on. But this thing is interesting. At turn 10, they require a 5% security handover. Which means that 5% of the security, or 5% of the military, is going to be provided by the Afghan National Army. That's going to give you a bonus if you achieve that goal. And that's why I instantly started training these guys up here. Now what I want to do now is start training local forces. This is going to be SF4. I'm going to require... Ooh, what am I going to require? Let's go for a Black Hawk. It's expensive, but... it's hopefully going to be worth it. What I want to do is pick up the Special Forces, de-garrison. We're going to fly to this FOB here. FOBs are the only areas where you can train A&A infantry troops. There you go. Units dropped off. Let's fly back. Now I can use this one. Begin training A&A infantry. That's going to take me 3 turns. My plan here is to have these guys as the local contacts. So these are going to be basically patrolling the area and dealing with any insurgents that we might find, or visiting towns so that we can keep building up our contacts there. Now this MRAP transport needs to just hold, it needs to refuel. We have the other one there who's also going to hold. This one's going to hold. The Husky can make its way back.
Oscar Mike.
Buffalo holds. Yep, that's everyone.
New ANA unit deployed.
Okay, we have our first ANA unit. Let's see if they're pissing off anyone else. Nope, not at the moment. But you can see that the aid is going up. Plus 0.4. And there's a very, very gentle line coming up in that graph down there. Now the first ANA unit that I trained is Kilo Squadron. This is a group that, or this is basically the version, or the Afghan version of my MRAP, so my transport for infantry. Next, I want to get an MI8. I'm already training one, but seeing how many mountaintops there are, I'm going to need quite a few more of those. Let's see. These guys have now been refueled. This is Transport 1. Correction, that has not been refueled. Okay, collect rations. Now, nope, never mind. Rations allows you to resupply units in the field, but that's not exactly what I had in mind. Never mind. Let's bring Alpha Company on board. Then disembark, and now we're going to head to this town. You can see, however, that this Husky is going to be in trouble. It is starting to run out of fuel. So I need to get this thing back to a fob ASAP. If I don't, it won't make it back, and it will start to take a bit of damage. So I'm going to need to bring this thing back, and then probably resupply it either with an aerial drop or with a supply truck. So we're going to bring this one back.
Moving out.
We're going to pick up some fuel. And we're going to start to head here. Did you pick up fuel, or...? No, you didn't. Collect fuel. Hopefully there's nothing going to be explosive between me and this fog.
Moving out.
If there is, it's going to be painful. Nope, nothing. Good. Okay, so you're still on mission. We have visited this town, and we're now going to make our way towards the position where I want my next fob. The problem is that I'm running out of funds, or political points.
Moving out.
I was hoping for some demolitions that I could do there, but unfortunately there's nothing. Now, building a fob is pretty expensive. It's going to cost me 1,500 points, of which I only have 500. So instead it might be better to head back to base while I still can, while I still have the fuel. Unfortunately, I don't have a Husky here. And this Husky might make it back.
Moving out.
Every move also costs you political points, so you gotta be really careful about what you do and where. Let's get this helo home. Dropped off. Let's end the turn. Husky coming home. Nothing there. Okay, the Husky is now resupplied. Or should... No, actually it's not resupplied yet. Still needs to be in base for one more turn. The other Husky... Oh, it doesn't have any movement points left. Okay, who does? The Buffalo does. Let's go home. Don't blow up, don't blow up, don't blow up. Thank you. Get these trucks home and get the transport home. You can see that fuel is a real concern here. If you don't pay attention to your fuel, you're going to find your vehicle stranded and vulnerable. Let's see, do any of these towns have some more intel? Yes, they do. This town has intel. First, we're going to need to resupply this vehicle. Then, let's see, you are out of actions. Yep, next turn.
New ANA unit deployed.
That should be, what's that, the howitzer? Yep, Hotel Company is now ready to go. At the moment, Hotel Company can only fire from its current position, which is right over there. You can see that this is the range that they can fire at. If I put that thing over here, it should cover all three of these towns. So that's the objective. Unfortunately, they cannot move on their own. You need a helicopter to transport them. And not just a Black Hawk, you need a Chinook to do it. So I'm going to need to get another bigger helo for that. Drop off your fuel right there. There we go. Go back. Husky, go back.
Affirmative. Village uncooperative.
Wonderful. These guys might not have received enough aid yet, so they don't like me enough yet. Now this village is also going to be my next visit, because there is one of those campfires. You can barely see it, but there it is. This means we have intel. They're basically sending me smoke signals. Husky. Hurry home, dude.
Copy that.
And hopefully, yeah, you can make it. That's good news. And let's get the Buffalo home. Everything's going to get refueled. At this point, I do have a supply truck at home, but it's almost running out of fuel. So I'm going to keep this thing in here for one more turn. And that way it's going to be refueled automatically. All the units that we have here... unfortunately... Oh, actually we do have infantry. We have Echo Company here. So we can take this ASV, pick up Echo Company, tell SF3 to start training another transport. And we have a Husky. This is Husky 3. I'm going to clear the roads to that town. No IEDs. I'm almost going to say unfortunately, because I like IEDs. They give me points, as long as I can detect them in time.
New intel received.
Oh, hello.
Detected.
This is a, I believe a poppy field or marijuana field. This is where they built the drugs. So we need to take this thing down as well. As you can see, getting there with a vehicle, a ground-based vehicle, is not going to be easy. I'm going to need to bring a helo all the way over there. Which is not impossible, it's just going to take a little bit of effort. These guys can get back in their transport.
Copy solid.
And you can go back home in the next turn. And, yep.
ANA unit deployed.
Okay, this is where I'm going to end the episode. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. There is a very good chance that I'm missing something important because I don't have all the game mechanics down yet. But I'm confident enough to at least show you this and give a bit of an instruction or a bit of an explanation of what's going on, what I'm doing, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So hopefully you're going to be able to like the game. I definitely think it's interesting, especially figure out all the mechanics and where to set up your fobs and how to spend your political points. Maybe I'm doing it all wrong. That is definitely a possibility, but you can only do that stuff and just learn from making mistakes. So if you are very experienced in the game, comments like, "Oh my god, you're terrible," are very, very useless. Instead, tell me what I can do better, what I should be focusing my efforts around. Other than that, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more videos.